I hope you enjoy this interview with Zac Cross from Zac Cross Band. I've interviewed Zac before and really looking forward to talking to him again. And if you enjoy these Summer Country Music interviews, why don't you hit that subscribe button? I'd really appreciate it. It helps me develop this platform in order to bring these Australian country music artists to a broader range of people. So, like, subscribe, that'd be amazing. Thank you. With their high energy country and rock sound, Queensland's Zac Cross Band are amongst the busiest live acts around. They now have an album, The Music Lives On, which contains their singles and new tracks. And I'm going to talk to Zac Cross. Hi, Zac.
G'day, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, and pleased to see you again. It's been a while, actually. I think maybe 2023 was the last time we spoke. So I'm going to treat it like it's a new conversation. And
Yeah.
for people who don't know you as well, I'm going to ask you how the band came to be.
Um, well, it was a little bit of a mission. I'm going to say I started out with another guy, say 2016ish. We started playing, and then just as the old two-piece pub and club, cut your teeth till the early hours of the morning sort of situation. And then I'm going to say around that 2018, 2019 mark, Lockie joined the band, or at the time, us playing lead guitar. He's actually my youngest brother's best mate, and I popped in one day and kind of heard him having a jam, and went and sussed it out, and he was just absolutely slaying at 16 years old. So I was just like, well, we better do something about that. And I reckon if you fast forward to 2020, Baz parted ways with another band that he was in, our drummer, and we reached out, and yeah, he's been with us ever since. And as of August last year, Gimpy Muster was the first thing that he came to with us. Jamin Bob is now on the bass for us.
Gimpy Muster's a hell of a way to start with a band.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought we'd like Joey, our old bass player. That was one of his last ones with us, but it was like, hey, Jamin, come along and get around this, and we brought him out onto the stage, and obviously sang, and yeah, had a fat time. But yeah, it was yeah, that's sort of the dream team for us now.
So, given that Lockie was your brother's best friend and you're probably spending more time with him now than your brother does, how does your brother feel about it?
Well, it's kind of good in a way, in like in reverse, because I probably get to see Colbs a lot more, with Lockie than I sometimes would have before that. So state of origin nights and all those sort of let's go to the pub when we get a chance. We're all together, so it's kind of nice.
Now, at the time we're speaking, there has just been a state of origin, in fact, Origin 1 for the year, and I'm in New South Wales and you're in Rockhampton. So, I think I can guess how you're feeling.
Yeah, look, it was a little bit disappointing. I thought we actually got really lucky not to get pumped by more than that. I don't know. It's going to be tough the next two games.
Yeah, because the next one's in where? Like it's Melbourne or something like that, isn't it? Origin 2 is in Melbourne.
I think it's Perth, is it this year?
That's right. No, it is. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's a bit hard for a Queensland fan to get to.
a little bit. Oh, I went to two Origins like way back in the day. I went to that, that one that we won, like it was the biggest score line of all time at the time, like 50 something to like six. So it was hard to top any Origin after that. But Ashley's been trying to book tickets the last couple of years, but we'll have to line one up
Okay.
hopefully. So,
Now, Ashley is your wife of only
right.
a few weeks at the time we're speaking because you have not been married very long at all.
No, we got married the second week of April, so it was tools down for the band stuff there for a bit, and full steam ahead with getting married. But yeah, what an awesome day, what an awesome time. It's as cliche as it is, it does go way too fast.
Yeah. And big year for you in general because obviously getting married and then an album out within a few weeks of each other. So, had you originally planned that, or did you have to break it to Ashley that
Um,
it was going to go quickly and then album out?
well, originally, because we had the album finished at the back end of 2023, or spent 2023 recording it. the plan was to bring some singles out last year, and then January, February, sort of bring the album out. But we didn't move it because of the wedding. But like, I'm so glad that it did come after the wedding, because I think if it was beforehand, it just like would have been way too much.
Well, and also the band plays a lot, so you have to factor in, playing gigs in support of it. But we will talk about recording the album because you worked with producer Jared Adlam,
Yep.
and he is on the Gold Coast. So, given that you're not on the Gold Coast, there's a bit of travel involved. Did you try to record with him as much as you could, or were you going back and forth for a while?
Nah, we had to plan it, logistically, because we were still working full time. So we sort of, I think we did like four, like 7 day stints down there or something like that. Sort of tracked three or so at a time. There might have been five stints, I'm not sure, but yeah, we just try to go down and do a few at a time, and like really try to plan it well, and be as efficient, I guess, or productive as we could be. I would love to run back and forth to a studio all the time, or anytime I had an idea and say, let's do this. But there's there's real life involved.
There's real life involved, I think, and also the practicalities that the studios are only in a handful of places, really.
Yeah, yeah. We're going back down to the studio July, I think, to do another stint. But we're going to try not be as planned this time, and just see what happens and get creative, and not so much of a time crunch at the moment.
Right. So by be creative, do you mean sort of half write songs before you go in, or even just go in with an idea and see what happens?
Yeah, a bit of both. Like, I mean, when we started recording the album, the first couple stints, we had those songs fairly nailed before going in. We played them 1,000 times and like got it tight, and we were really ready to go. But that kind of means like those ideas are stuck in your head.
Yeah.
And maybe once you get to the studio, you're not as like free to be creative. And then the last stint we went down, we just made it a point to like, let's just do the lyrics, and then go down there with nothing and just see what happens.
Right.
We got a vibe we're going for, but we don't know what we're going to come up with. So I think it's probably going to be more along the lines of that again. It was pretty fun.
I would imagine, given that with this album, as you said, you had the songs nailed, you had probably been playing them live for a long time, you knew them inside and out. It must be quite interesting, at the very least, to have a producer then come in and say, well, I have some different ideas about these songs that you know very well.
He's pretty good. Like, I feel like, the further you go along, you sort of know where the spaces are, all the, for him to, you just know where he's going to interject, or like maybe there's a few things we're not completely sold on. We're like, hey, we got a couple ideas, or like, what do you think? Or, we need this last little theme. But I mean, the whole way through, there's always those little bits and pieces and those little like intricate details that he'll just throw in, and just take it, that next level. And it always gets us excited when he does that. He's got a way of just like pulling it out of my head without having to say it. Like, especially if I can't say it, I'm trying to articulate it, and he's just like, "How about this?" I'm like, that's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I would think that's a particular skill a producer needs to have, but yeah,
Yeah.
there's so much that's mysterious about music, that they may not always be able to work out what you're thinking. I was interested in the balance on the album because you have some songs that are country rock, some that are rock, and then you have some ballads, and so there's this sense of all those elements balancing each other. But I'm wondering, when you went into the studio, did you have that balance in mind, or did you actually have some songs that you decided not to record because you were looking at the overall shape of the album?
No, I had the album pretty mapped out before going down. Like, I sort of knew all the songs that we had, the vibes of the songs, where they were most likely going to fit in the album. I kind of nearly planned it like an essay a little bit. We knew which songs we were going to record each time. I think, you know, obviously there's a lot of songs that are quite different to each other. I do feel like throw them together, they do kind of balance out nicely, but it's also kind of by design that they're up and down, because the whole idea of the album is that it's a little bit of a roller coaster. And two steps forward, one step back, sort of, on the journey. So it is kind of, it's supposed to be like that a little bit.
All right. And it's also really interesting following your voice through these changes on the album because in those ballads, like it's you're right up in the mic. We can really hear it. There's nowhere for you to hide as a singer, and you do have such a lovely tone in your voice. Then you get to rock it out in some of the songs, and your voice sounds quite different. So I'm wondering if Jared had a role in that as well, bringing things out of you as a singer, or if you played those songs live so much that you really knew the way to sing them.
A little bit of both. I think, especially saying before where we've gone down and absolutely had them sort of nailed before going in verse, only going down with sort of lyrics the last time. I feel like there's a massive difference when it comes to actually tracking vocals when you know the songs back to front because you have that freedom, I don't know, to do some different stuff or where there's room to play but when you're just figuring out the melodies, I think or they're pretty fresh when you're going in there. I think there is another element
Mhm.
of difficulty. Maybe for me, anyway. I'm probably not the best with melodies, but yeah, that I'm sure he does play with the vocal effects and different mics and I think he just really knows what works for each song or how my voice works. So I just trust what he recommends and what he does.
Is there a style of song you prefer singing live? Like, do you like those slower songs over the rockier songs, or vice versa?
Honestly, it just depends on the mood. I mean,
Right.
I feel like for the most part, I'm going to say the heavier, or not the heavier, but just the more, upbeat, energetic, like, let's get the crowd pumping. But I think it is super effective when you set the tone like that, and that's what we like to do, and then throw in those ones where you just drop it down and you bring them in, and it's not full and loud, and you can have those intimate little moments, I guess, and that's probably where it's the rawest, I guess. Singing your own lyrics, you know probably the most emotional that you'll get.
Yeah, for sure. And they are really I would say heartfelt, but it's that sense listening to them that we are right there with you because of the way they're recorded and also the way you're singing them. And I think it does probably take knowing the song really well and singing it a lot to get to that point.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, this album, obviously, like these songs are particularly like very personable to me. Like they're exactly my life. Like a 4 or 5 year snapshot. Um, of the journey, I guess. And like I think moving forward, they don't necessarily, they definitely won't all be as probably as personable, or don't have to be rather. But I think like for this particular project, it was sort of like, I need that as much as the song needs me. That old cliche
Yeah.
saying, nearly a bit of personal therapy, nearly.
Yeah, because my overall impression of the album is that it's a collection of songs about trying to be the best person you can be while also acknowledging that there's some work left to do.
100%. And I mean, I don't know if that's ever going to change. Like, there's always going to be something to work on or something you can do better, or and that's like who I am. Like the second song on the album where it really starts, like that's really about like I know there's problems, but like I don't care, or I do care, but like I am who I am. And then obviously once we get to the music lives on, it's sort of like no, like we've conquered those, and it took some doing, but we're on the other side now. So that's you've kind of nailed it on the head.
Well, and also I was really intrigued by Tea Too Sweet as a song title, but also as a song because it's a track that I think is partly about being the best you can be, but sometimes falling down. But then there's also a sense of, well, I've moved on from all of this. Yeah, I still take my tea too sweet. But that line, that title is actually kind of unexpected. I've never heard things expressed like that, but it's really memorable. So how did you come up with it?
Oh, it's kind of funny. Like to be honest, this is probably one of my favorite like um, songs lyrically. Like I don't know, it was just fun to write. Or at the time, it was like, damn, like this is I'm really feeling what I'm trying to put down. But essentially the song is about like trying to face your vices, I guess, or acknowledging like, and that doesn't matter what that is. There's 1,000 different vices. Uh, Obviously, a lot of them are quite, have quite negative impacts on your life. And I just thought, I genuinely probably have way too much sugar in my tea, and I just figured that's a bit of a lighthearted, like, I don't know, crux of the song. With instead of making it too dark, you know what I mean? It's like, oh
Yeah.
well, I'm trying to work on these things. I'm trying to be better, and I don't know if that means anything to you, but hey, I'm still putting too much sugar in my tea.
Yeah. Yeah, and also think it's that acceptance of, yeah, and this is me, and actually I don't want to change it now. I might have been told that I had to change it, that I had to have less sugar, but I'm fine with it now.
Well, it's also kind of like, um, okay, like I might have gotten better with some things or like beaten a few things, but everyone's got to have a vice. So if mine's just having too much sugar in my tea, well,
Yeah.
could be worse things.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. And then we have in a happy song a line. I tried to write a happy song, but it didn't take when I tried it on. So I'm wondering if you think that happy songs will ever be for you.
Um, well, yes, they will. I do have some happy songs, and especially some other ones are going to come out.
Mhm.
Um, just got married, so hopefully I got a few happy ones in me. But um, the like that 11th song on the album, a happy song, like when I was talking about the sort of the order of the album, I really wanted that one to kind of be what the music lives on became,
Mhm.
but like that getting over the mountain song, and I was like, I was real, I was really trying to write it for a long time,
Right.
and I was like, I'm struggling with this. I do feel like it's a little bit harder to write genuinely happy songs, um, but I just had a shocking day,
Mhm.
and I was like, you know what? I've been trying to write a happy song, but it's not going to happen. So yeah, just smash that out. And I do like the songwriting in that one too, because it does reference a lot of the other songs in it as well. So I don't know. I think the purpose of it is like, you know, you can have a bad day, but it doesn't mean that you're throwing the towel in on everything else. You know what I mean? It's like, oh well, shit day, whatever.
Yeah.
Move on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is the pragmatic way to look at things. Don't hold on to it. Just move
Mm,
on. Accept that it's not a happy song, because as
yeah.
you just said, this was the song you hoped that the music lives on would become, and that is the last track on the album, and it's a tribute to your grandfather.
Yes. Yeah. Um, you know the happy song, the happy song, the music lives on, like really did become that, like reflective song, like I was saying, like we've made it over the hill and faced all our demons, but I always also wanted to do a song, for Big Pop. We have really quite a musical family, and he was definitely the leader of the band, so yeah, I always knew I wanted to do a song for him. And the idea actually started with a tattoo. It was a tattoo idea, and then I connected the dots, became the song, and then it fit perfectly for the end of the album. So it was sort of, we made it over the hill. We faced all these challenges. I'm talking to him while he's up there, sort of saying, I hope you're looking down and you're proud, and you can see all the effort that's gone in. So yeah, it's sort of a blend. The music lives on.
So when you say you have a very musical family, does that mean both sides and lots of different family members playing instruments, or is there even a family band somewhere there?
So dad, like the cross side of the family, like they're literally all musical. Pop was one of eight, and yes, they were like one big 8-piece band.
Oh wow.
Every family event growing up or whatever, there would be no less than 8 people up there, having a big old jam, and like anyone could just go up and do whatever and have a go. And I was always way too scared. I was a kid. I was was nervous to go up there, but then yeah, obviously hope flying the flag now. So you know.
Yeah. At what age did you well, I was gonna say stop being nervous, but maybe you still are a little bit, but at what age did you actually think, oh yeah, I can do this?
um, So in my school, it's like I went to a school called Emmaus, and they had like an Emmaus. It was called Emmaus Day. It was like like really like a talent show, I guess. Don't really know what it was, but I was in grade 12, and it was like a bit of a, all right, well, might as well get up there and give it a shot one time. And I probably sang this song like at home for like 400 times. Mum and dad would have been getting so mad. But yeah, I went up there, and I feel like I nailed it or whatever. And then you know, I think that was the moment that it just sort of was like, damn, like, all right, well, I conquered that fear of going to sing, and I know I can do it. So that's probably where the spark really started. But then, I didn't play straight out of school. I was doing whatever, and I think like that 2016-ish mark, and someone reached out, you want to come play here and do whatever, and I was like, yeah, I guess so. And me and another mate went and did it, and then that. I've played ever since.
So when did you first play for your family members?
I think I might have jumped on the drum kit. That popped weight maybe would have been still absolutely packing decks there, but I don't know if I really have actually like fully played for them. They've cut a few of them have come to the Gympie Muster,
Right.
but yeah, it's been a real hot minute between the big jam sessions.
Well, you might need to restart them, but I'm also hoping that relatives who came to the Gympie muster were suitably impressed. It is the muster after all.
Yeah, well, actually, hot little side tip for you. That side of the family is literally from Gympie, so
Oh,
it just worked out pretty well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And you're back at the Gympie muster this year, so I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know if you could actually stay with relatives and drive in every day. It seems like you kind of go in and stay in.
yeah, I think so. Especially when you let the hair down and have a few beers as well. It's a little bit hard to go back and forwards, but I feel like every year we've gone, we've kind of just been in and out and tried to punch it out. But I think this year we might just go down and try and enjoy it a little bit, and see all the other acts as well.
It sounds like it's getting bigger and better every year, that muster. Now, track one on the album is called Country Got It Right. And I really like the fact that it's actually more of a rock song than a country song. What do
Yeah,
you think Country got right?
yeah. Well, like as straightforward and blunt as it is, there's something about like driving back through town and traffic and red lights and just chaos that does my head in. And I just think life can just get so fast, and I think you can sometimes lose touch of like what actually is important. And I think around the same time, me and a bunch of mates, went out to this property for the weekend, and honestly, just let loose, let loose for the weekend, and it just sort of was like that was um, the reset that was needed. The okay, of soothe the soul back to life sort of thing. So yeah, it was really just that's kind of how that was inspired. And for the rocky side of it, I just think it was the opening song on the album. We're like, well, like we do in a live show, let's just send it.
Yeah, yeah. But I think it also works if you're playing the album on repeat because you get to the music lives on at the end, and then
Yeah,
it's this nice thing of just it does. You go back to the start.
yeah, yeah, literally. And man, I hope everyone's listening to it on repeat.
Well, I have been. Now, you mentioned Jamin Bod, your bass player, close to the start of this chat. And he had other things to do over the past few months because he reached the top six of Australian Idol. Were
Yeah.
you looking at the TV thinking, when am I getting him back? When can we play gigs?
Oh, we were cheering him on. I was getting nervous every Wednesday, going, "Come on, you got this!" Like, we're message each other back and forwards. Like, just I don't know. I had him pegged for top three, to be honest. Like, unbiasedly so. I thought he could have got there, and especially from his audition, I just thought he's just got that much raw talent. It's not funny, So let's sit you on bass guitar for a bit.
I was going to say, is it giving you ideas for what you can do in the set? Maybe you have a little set break, bring him out, he can do an Australian Idol song.
Well, we definitely get him to sing as much as we can, and most definitely let him, two or three songs there and do his thing. But you know, he's going to go definitely do his own thing, and you know, he'll be a superstar at some point. The boys are literally at the venue in town at the moment, having a practice with him for one of his shows coming up this weekend. So
Right.
the yeah, just hearing him sing and getting the full band around him, he's unreal.
Well, speaking of bands, you, as I said, you have a lot of gigs coming up. When I was looking at your schedule, there's quite a few rodeos. There's the odd thing with Bronc in the title, and there is something called Pig Day Out that I'm very intrigued about. What is Pig Day Out?
You,
Pretty
I don't
much
know. I
nothing.
don't, I don't know. Um, I'm assuming it's some sort of little festival, and I think there might be like pig races or something, or I don't know. You know, bacon and eggs for brekkie, I guess. Not sure.
Okay. Which sounds almost rude, really. If you've got live pigs on the premises and then bacon and eggs for breakfast, I bet
Maybe a
they do
little
have.
pulled pork burger.
That's right. But yeah, it's a really varied run of events, and it does say, more to come. So clearly, even though you're working full time, your weekends are spent traveling to play shows.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you know, usually by now we would have all those dates sorted for the year, but like I said, obviously it tools down during the getting married period. So just yeah, hopefully we get to put a few more out shortly and round out the year.
Yeah. So quite apart from your music, or perhaps adjacent to it, is your work for our Rainbow House Foundation. So it'd be great to hear how you got involved with that and what it involves now.
It was pretty funny because you know, obviously have a lot of inquiries coming through, and you know, a lot of those are some sort of charity or fundraising, you know, event come and play. But I responded to them, and you know, I was interested, and I snuck away from work to go and have brekkie with them, and it was a little bit more like an interrogation than an interview. There was four really lovely ladies there, and they wanted to know all about us and what we do and what we're about, and then they told us about what they do, and then they bought me brekkie. I did offer to buy them brekkie, but yeah, we haven't looked back since. This will be the fourth year. Casey Chambers is obviously the ambassador for that, and they, you know, the whole thing is to raise money for orphan children over in Zambia, and this year they actually got two coming over to the fundraiser that we're doing. So we get to meet them and sing some songs with them, and yeah, you know, everyone kind of gets to see the reward for the effort that they're putting in. So.
Yeah. So do you tend to play a few shows, fundraisers, that sort of thing, or is it also just staying in touch with what's going on at the foundation?
Well, it's pretty, you know, that fundraising event is sort of one, you know, it's the one big event a year. You know, they do several, but we do the one big one a year. And you know, over the last 4 years, we definitely keep in touch more and more and more. And you know, even like Alison and some of the ladies, when we're playing somewhere nearby, they'll come down and catch a show, and you know, come and hang out, get some photos. And I think the last one they seen us, they come to Emerald and seen us play Big Beer Festival, and they, you know, when we do our Rainbow House stuff, it's usually pretty tame and mild, and you know, it's a nice intimate afternoon, and they come to Big Beer and we turn it on. She was like, oh, that was intense.
Yeah. It's a different experience with the Zac Cross band.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
still played Traveling Soldier for him, gave him a shout out. This one's for you.
Yeah, nice. So I think that involvement with our Rainbow House Foundation and certainly what's on the album as well suggests to me that you like having purpose in your life, and that like you, as we've discussed, you try to make the best of life, and always learning, always growing. So as you look ahead towards the rest of the music you're going to create this year, and perhaps recording a new album, do you feel that your purpose shifts now that you have one album out, or is it always the same, that you're always just striving to do the best you can?
Well, definitely always striving to do the best. I feel like my brain probably doesn't naturally let me let up all too that much. Every time you hit something or you achieve something, it's just like immediately on to the next. So I don't think it changes sort of purpose wise like that. It does feel really good though to have this album out because it's something that we have worked on for so long. So it does feel like we kind of get to turn the page in the book, and it's kind of a weight off the shoulders, nearly. Like it's out, we've done it, like we've achieved it. Whatever happens doesn't matter. Like proud of the boys and everyone that's got around us. So I think, to be honest, I just feel like pressure's off, like moving forward now. You know what I mean? Like we can just go and just do whatever we, record whatever.
Yeah. Well, especially I guess since you recorded it late 2023, you said, and yeah, that's quite a long time to wait to put it out. You have been releasing singles, but now obviously, as you said, you're going to try a different way of recording. You're going to head to the studio without necessarily having songs completed. Does that mean that you won't be testing new songs in your sets?
Well, so we already have a few that are completed, ready for post album. So yeah, I think there'll be some testing in there, and especially like we're still going to be writing, we're still going to be coming up with songs, so maybe road test them and see how they go. I just think when we go, they will just won't be, fully complete like they were originally, because I just love that creativity really opens it up to the floor, for everyone. It's not just one person's idea or has to be this way, I just feel like even collaborations, writing collaborations, and just seeing how other people do it, and learning from them as well, just there's always a boundary to push, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's not the easiest life when you're constantly striving to do better and more and push your boundaries, but probably the more creatively rewarding life for an artist.
Yeah, and I mean it's scary because you put everything down onto that paper and you just go, oh, I hope everyone likes this or can relate, or like, it's written in a way, even though it's personable, like, you're picking up what I'm putting down, or you felt that too, or it can help you get through something, or,
Mhm.
that's a big one. Music's always helped me forever get through something. That's why also I wanted the music lives on to be that 12 song, because music has always been that constant, and I think it has been for a lot of people. So I just think, if we can, put those stories out there and people can latch onto that, we've probably done our job.
Yeah, well, I think my favorite thing is as what I like to call meaningful entertainment, and that is that you
Yeah,
can be entertained on one level, and then if you can derive meaning from it, then
yeah,
all the better. And I do think this album is meaningful entertainment.
yes, good. Well, thank you. That's definitely was the purpose. There you go. To you know, I just think there's no empty songs. Like every song has something, has its own story, and for sure, people are going to interpret that in different ways as well. So,
Mhm.
um, you know, I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be received that way. And it's been great to talk to you about it, Zach. I'm going to leave it there and say that I'll see you down the road.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah.